So I assume it's doing the video too, right?
Yep. We are liftoff.
We're alive. What the fuck is up, Slab Bacon?
Oh, boys.
I'm here with a couple of Portland boys, Carlos and our newest member, Tom. And so we're just going to chat about week 2. It's already started last night, Thursday night football. And Carlos was saying that he wanted to do this pod because the two of them, they've been like BFFs for decades and they've never played each other in fantasy. So I guess let's just start by, when did y'all start playing fantasy and how come it's been this long since you've like been in a league together?
The first fantasy football league I ever played in was Zach's fantasy football league that he started. I think he got a little boner like after playing in your league for a little while, Chris, and wanted to do it himself. And I think you were in that league.
Yeah. I think that was the one he made, that it was an 8-team league, and in order to make it competitive, he expanded the roster. So we had like 2 quarterbacks, 4 running backs, like 5 wide receivers. It's a huge starting lineup just so it was balanced out among 8 people, which was kind of fun actually. That, I feel like if you're going to do an 8-team league, like that's the only way you can do it.
Like 200-point games and shit.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
And didn't you win that league?
I think you did. I won the fucking league. I had Peyton Manning and fucking Russell Wilson and Marshawn Lynch fucking leading the way. And I don't remember if it was a PPR. It might have been a PPR league too. Maybe
I don't think it was. I think at that time, me and Zach were like gung-ho standard all the way.
Okay. I think I remember him talking about the 2 QB league. And this was probably like a 3rd or 4th year playing fantasy football. And I was like, what the fuck is a 2 QB league?
That's pretty commmen now. Yeah. Yeah. With how replaceable quarterbacks are in fantasy, people started just rolling out with they'll either have like a 2 QB league or a super flex league so that you can put a QB in your flex with, a tight end, wide receiver, or running back, which I've been in one of those leagues before, which was pretty cool. But I don't know. I'm afraid to make the switch. That's like too big of a switch for Slab Bacon. I think going from standard to half PPR was like the most I'll fuck with the backbone of the league, I guess.
That's a big move. It's tough to meddle with traditions sometimes.
Yeah, it's like when you're in a 2 QB league or a super flex league, you have to go QB in the first round. Like QB becomes so much more valuable in that case.
Okay. Anything else you want to add?
I just remember, I won that fucking league, which just kind of like cemented me as like a guy who like wants to fucking play fantasy football every year. I think it was that year that Peyton Manning like set the record for like most touchdowns. It was just like a stupid. It was one of his last years with the Broncos.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
54 touchdowns, and the Seahawks whoop ass on him in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's
right. Yeah, it was fucking sweet. It was fucking sweet.
Okay, so you're kind of new to fantasy, but you've been a football fan forever. But the fantasy started with Zach's 2 QB league way back. I think that was like 2014 or 2015 or something like that.
Yeah.
What about you, Tom? When did you start?
I started playing fantasy football. God, I must have been like 25. I was working at a brewery at the time. My good buddy, big Panthers fan. He's like the only one I know within 3,000 miles of us. But naturally, we became friends. He's like, "Hey, I'm doing fantasy football. You want to get in?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And we had all of our friends came in and drafted, and like it was really fun. So I stuck with it. I won that year. I was like, "Oh hell yeah!"
Nice. Like, your first year ever, you just won the shit right away. That's awesome.
Yeah, and then every year after that, it just kind of progressed into more leagues. Like I think the most I did was like 4 at one point.
I've been there.
Turning like a fantasy football addict or something. And then Carlos and I, we've known each other since we were 5 years old. 30 freaking years we've been
Oh
friends,
wow,
but,
I
like,
didn't realize. I knew you guys have been boys
Yeah.
forever, but I didn't realize it
we're,
was like
you know,
kindergarten.
smacking kids with giant tinker toys when we're 5 years old or something in class, and
That's
you know,
cool, man.
teachers' pets. But I don't know.
That-
I think we had so many leagues already going on this last, 5-10 years that we're just like, fuck, like I can't add another one. And then I remember him, like, him and Zach talking about the slab, and I was like, that sounds really fun. Like, this guy sounds super cool. They're like really into this shit. Like, if somebody doesn't fill their roster spot, they're getting a swift kick in the ass, And I was like, I like that. Like, I like the accountability that's there, and just everybody's actually a huge football fan, which is sweet. So I was like, yeah, dude, like put me on the waiting list. I'll do like a video interview if I have to. Like,
Yeah, your name was floating around for a while, and Carlos was the same way. He was on the fringes of slab bacon doing Zach's league, and then we had remember the gridiron challenge that we did? It was like DraftKings before DraftKings got popular. It was like the ESPN like daily roster, and you would have a budget for every week, and you could make set a different lineup with different players every week, and you won that league too. So I was like, okay. So he's bringing the competition, and Zach had just moved to Portland like a few years prior at that point, and he was like, I need someone who lives in my area to be in the league. It's like, all right, so Carlos is in.
Yeah, dude, I remember. Yeah, Zach started it up. I met Zach through like our kids, like through kids' birthday party. Like my kid and his kid were at the same birthday party through like a neighbor, and like Zach was just kind of like walked up to me. It was a little romancy, but he was just like, "Hey, this guy." I was wearing like a football jersey and a backwards hat, and he's like, "Oh, this guy, it reminds me of Houston or blah blah." Like, okay, dude, and like, and fuck, I remember that first year of fantasy, only couple of years, he was my next door neighbor, and we would get, I was partying a while, like I was in my 20s, not that I don't party now, but I was partying a lot, and I just remember like Sundays, like just going over to his place, like fucking after doing like Molly or like doing drugs all night, and like go like plop on his couch and like let his fucking, pet his dog, and Carissa would be there. Like we just started day drinking and watching football, and it's this real kind of like low key 20-year-old bullshit kind of shit.
What was that dog they had? I don't remember.
Dixie.
Yeah, Dixie was a nice dog.
Yeah, he had Dixie when we lived together. He adopted Dixie, so I was there when Dixie was a pup.
Dixie's an OG then.
Yeah.
Shit, man. But yeah, like over the years, like Carlos and I, we just never happened to be in the same league. So we'd be like, we'd give each other advice and shit. We'd be like text each other like, oh man, I don't know about this whiteout too and all this crap. Now it's just like, nope.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my phone,
Yeah.
Now we have like a homegrown rivalry, a Portland homegrown rivalry now that's starting, because you got a fresh 0-0 right now. Let's see. I'm gonna pull up the matchup and just take a look.
Yeah, sorry. First season, first league, first.
You guys had players going last night too, didn't you?
Yep.
I did.
It was kind of a fail, I think, on both ends, but
it was very NFC East last night. Yeah, I was looking at it like.
Oh yeah, I had New York's defense in, and my whole mentality was, oh, Washington has their backup QB, and I still ended up with -1 points.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at yours now. You got 0 from Washington. After giving up 29 points, that's still pretty good. And 8.3 from Antonio Gibson, who I like.
They got robbed, man. JD McKissick like came in, and he vultured the first touchdown.
That's so
and then
frustrating.
They like got a long pass to him for like 45 yards, and all of a sudden he's like the fucking fantasy back after every dumbass article in the universe said to drop it.
Yeah.
It's worthless.
God, I think I had him last year in some league, and like, he was this garbage time, like late by week fill in. I just had to like shove in there or something. I was like, crap.
This just goes to show that the narrative is true, that running backs don't matter. Right? They don't fucking matter.
Why does this league draft them like for the first 4
because
rounds?
they are so scarce that after like the first 5 are taken, they really don't matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's such.
I was worried about my first running back, I never wait this long to take a running back, and I took wide receiver, tight end in the first two. So I ended up with Swift as my one, and he ended up getting 20 points. It's like, I don't know if that's just luck for week one, but if I have anything close to a top tier that I picked up in the third round, then that's kind of what I'm hoping for with the draft that I went through.
Yeah. Swift is going to be interesting. I think he's just going to be like boom or bust every year. Obviously, Detroit's going to be playing from behind probably every game. So I think
they throw it to him too.
He'd be good to bank on garbage time. I mean, look what happened last week. Yeah, he got almost 20 points, just nothing all game, and then that huge reception touchdown. I feel like he could be a real good garbage time cleaner or something, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, I'll buy into that narrative sometimes, they're going to be playing from behind, so they're going to be throwing the ball a lot. But man, if the team sucks enough, it doesn't matter if they're going to be playing from behind.
Exactly. I'm not a big believer in that. Just we're down by 40. Well, we're just going to pass to catch up.
Yeah.
No, you're going to run the ball. You're going to wind out the clock. These guys want to hit the showers. How many times can Detroit get beat up by Green Bay and have fun?
Well, you're gonna put in your your rookies and stuff too at that point. If you're down by so many points, your starters will lose reps too, and it's just this is a dangerous game to play.
I mean, freaking Rodgers was right on the bench in the fourth quarter last week. I mean, yeah, who saw that coming?
Yeah, no, I know.
I got sweet. I got Rodgers, man. I got 20 points guaranteed. 2.3 or something.
Yeah, dude, I had Aaron Jones going. That was brutal too.
I think
that was my first.
Someone's gonna need to check those fools' temperatures, man. They're gonna be pissed. I think Monday. Rodgers is gonna throw I'm throwing out there 4 touchdowns. Aaron Jones 150 all purpose. That's my story.
What did Aaron Jones end up with last week?
I mean, he ended up with a couple of points. Pull up his...
less than 5 points, just
it was 3 points in our league. He has 13 yards, man, and a couple of passes that he caught, and that's it.
What a fucking letdown, man.
Yeah. Week one is, I mean, you have high hopes, but it comes crashing down real quick because you're just all shaking off the rust. There could be a lot of new coaching staff, new offensive line. I mean, it's just so many goddamn variables in week one. It's total crapshoot.
Yeah. That's why I hate betting on week one. You can't really you're just going in without testing the waters,
Yeah.
Because we really don't know the new situations with every team until we see it, at least, especially in football. There's so few games played that sometimes it's week 4 before we realize how they're actually using everybody.
Right. I saw something freaking ESPN or something. It was 16 new starting quarterbacks this year.
Is that right? I didn't even.
Yeah, 15 or 16. I mean, granted, 2 or 3 of those guys are rookies who were rookies last year that came in game 1 or 2. So they included Justin Herbert. So it's not quite these are fresh off the boat or whatever. But 15, 16 new starting quarterbacks as opposed to last season, which is wild.
That is wild. And Trevor Lawrence, the most hyped up one, looked the absolute worst of all the new ones.
Yeah, and that was the first game.
Yeah, Zach Wilson, he had some good plays. I mean, he's on the Jets. He has less talent around him, but I still think he looked better than Trevor Lawrence in week 1.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence looking like Jar Jar Binks running away from droids out there.
He definitely has the Jar Jar Binks thing going on for sure. He kind of looks like a lesbian. He looks like he's just.
There's a TikTok chick that's goes to college that has a TikTok that looks exactly like him. He looks like a fucking chick that plays basketball.
Yeah.
I whip all our asses still.
Yeah.
I guess got more athleticism in our pinky than the 3 of us combined in our own bodies.
Well, I'm looking at both of your rosters, and I'm going to tell you what I think.
Yeah, take it apart.
So the projections are pretty close. I know they've kind of already been fucked with because of Thursday night football, but they look pretty well balanced. I feel like Squeezes has the slight edge with the wide receiver selection. I like Hopkins and Cooper better than Woods and Higgins. But as far as like flex, tight end, running backs, QB, both of the squads look really solid. And with Carlos already has the lead. And I feel like you have the lesser wide receivers, so you probably kind of balanced out that edge. You have like a 1 point difference, 1.5 point difference with the projections right now.
I know, right?
So how are you guys feeling about it? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, the app keeps me up at night because it's always changing its projections every 5 minutes, it seems like. So, I mean, yesterday was what? Like 68% chance to win. Now,
well, that's because your defense is
yeah. Yeah, it fluctuates a lot really quick. Like I was actually staring at the app and just watched it change at one point. I was just like, what are these factors? What's changing?
Do you feel good about starting Antonio Brown in your flex? Or are you kind of scared that he just went off last week and is going to put up a goose egg next week?
So my concern with the Buccaneers, obviously, like high-powered offense, they're the favorites. Like they're going to kick everyone's asses here probably. My worry is that they're going to be like the Saints like 4 or 5 years ago, where you don't know every week somebody else is going to have the hot hand.
Right.
You know, it's going to be, Jimmy Graham back then or whoever the hell they had, Joe Horn or something. It's like Tom Brady's just going to pick a new favorite target every week, I feel like. That's my main concern because they have the luxury to do that.
Yeah, Brady has always spread the ball around. He's never, I mean, unless you're Gronk, if you're like a wide receiver on Brady's team, it's kind of, however he's feeling that day, someone's going to have a good day. You don't know who it's going to be.
Yeah. I'm more excited about Antonio Brown than I am like playing like Robbie Anderson or something. I mean, he got one like 60-yard catch, which was a touchdown, which was great, but that was like the epitome of boomer bust right there. I feel like AB will probably be a little more reliable than say Robbie Anderson. Like I'm feeling okay about it. A little iffy, but
I've always admired Carlos's because I've been in a league with him, like probably 6 or 7 years at this point. And I've always admired his balls to see a player go off and he'll just start him right away. Like I've always been the type of person that's like apprehensive, like, I don't know. I think it's just a fluke, flash in the pan. I'm going to wait and see if he can keep doing it before I put it in. But I feel like Carlos is the type of person that's, he went off last week, I'm putting him in next week.
Do you feel like he has anybody on his starting lineup right now that might do that?
Did anyone in your roster go off last week? I mean, Waller got enough targets. I feel like Waller is going to be your guy to like really get the 20 or 30 points in any given week.
Yeah, Waller. Waller definitely saved my week last week, literally in the last fucking possible.
Yeah, I love him. I'm a big believer. I've had him in my dynasty league. I don't have him anymore, but I've been all in on him.
They fucking targeted him like 19 times or something.
Yeah, it was like he was the only guy they were going to until the very end of the game, and then Edwards finally started getting some targets, and he made some good plays too. Edwards did. But yeah, that's just a bad offense, and Waller's still able to produce in that offense, which is promising. Tyson Williams. What did he do last week? I'm gonna check this out.
Yeah, he had a good showing last week. He
9 times 65 yards and a touchdown.
He had 16.9 points, which is pretty good. And I remember watching that Monday night game, and the Ravens like to run that the read option where Lamar will hold the ball, check the defensive end, see if he's playing coverage or blitzing, and decide whether or not to hand the ball off. Well, Tyson couldn't make that read with Lamar, and I think that's why Lamar he was still trying to take the ball when Lamar was trying to keep it, and that's why Lamar fumbled 3 times. So he had 3 fumbles. He only lost one of them, but he ended up fumbling 3 times. And they credit the fumble to the QB because technically the running back doesn't have possession yet. But I think it was Tyson's fault that he was making all those fumbles. But considering that, if he could fix that little thing, having a good running back on the Ravens is a good thing. So especially with their banged up situation.
It must be nice for teams to have that luxury of just like you have such a good system that you can plug and play like anyone at running back, they're gonna do a good job.
Yeah.
Like
Say it with me. Running backs don't matter.
running backs,
You're in a read option with Lamar Jackson, like you'll probably get some yardage.
running backs aren't real.
Yeah. I got big hopes for Tyson. I feel like, after the Clam Acres debacle,
Oh, Quam.
I feel like the fantasy gods definitely blessed me because I grabbed Tyson before even Gus Edwards went down
Yeah.
and like just held him. And I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, that was a
give
good.
myself some credit, but I got lucky. Like I think he could be the guy. I don't know. He also
Yeah,
was
no,
like,
yeah, you're right. I think he will probably be the guy. Did they pick up Le'Veon Bell, that's right. But we
they
don't
just signed Devonta Smith too off the practice squad to like an active role, but
Freeman,
Devonta
yeah, Freeman. That's
sorry,
right,
Devonta
yeah.
Freeman, yeah.
Former Falcons
But
great.
who the fuck knows? That guy's old. I mean, that guy's kind of old news.
Yeah, he hadn't been good in a while, but you
Like
never
2 or
know.
3 good
It might be
years.
another Washington situation or Shanahan situation where they just go with the hot hand.
Yeah.
Feel it out every week in practice and just go with whoever. So who do you guys think has the strongest team in the league so far?
We can't if we can't pick our own, right? We gotta go with somebody
Sure,
else.
yeah. I mean, you and I are both tied for first place if we're going by our power rankings.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to like toot my own horn, but I really like my team. Like I said in the chat earlier, when I spent $300 on the defense.
Yeah, dude.
I'm not worried about. I'm not worried about any position on my starting team. Sure, like my bench might be like whack or whatever, but like I feel good about my team.
Yeah,
I'm not like losing sleep over it, and I don't want to like toot my own horn, but like I think I drafted really well, and like I'm excited for the season. I think you're going to have like a lot of weird up and down close matchups though, because it's just nature of fantasy
yeah,
football,
yeah,
like,
exactly.
I'm
Something will
stoked on my
happen.
team. Yeah,
You'll make all the right choices and something will happen and you'll have to pick up somebody or trade somebody.
Of that though, I like Zach's team. He got the overall best draft pick, obviously with McCaffrey. But I mean, it's really hard getting that number 1 pick and having to wait like 3 hours for your second pick. I mean, he got a top 3 receiver, top 3 quarterback. Like, it's hard to draft from that position. I feel like he really hit it. Like, he maximized that number 1 pick, if you will.
I think he drafted well too. I like his picks, even though he picked James Robinson at 3, and that was probably too high. But I feel like he still would have gone quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I was targeting him. I was like, I'll take Robinson.
Yeah, I wanted him too, just because I didn't have a running back at that point. But yeah, I like Zach's team. And have you guys checked out the I know I sent the thing for the stats, the massive spreadsheet. It has a million tabs, but there's a couple that show how the power rankings are made. Have you looked at that?
I didn't look at the power rankings. I did get into the sheet though, and that's super neat. I love Google Sheets. So
yeah, I'm a big spreadsheet guy, and there are let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 categories that we use to determine the power ranks.
Okay.
And so we take the win record, like your regular record. If you're 1-0, then you're gonna have a good one. Obviously at week 1, that's easy. But overall wins is the next category, and that means it's taking your score and playing it against every other team in the league. Like if you were to play every team in the league, how many teams would you have beaten that week? So you, Tom, you ranked 3 with overall wins. Obviously, Dan had 1 because he got the bacon banner, so he was ranked 1. But your roster score is ranked number 4 out of the league, and so that, let's see, that is what made you tie with me because my overall wins was slightly higher than you, and so we ended up tying in that category. Joe, aka JJ What's Happening, has the highest roster score according to Fantasy Pros. So that's just a bullshit stat that's taken from Fantasy Pros. That's all the experts, quote experts in the industry, they take like an average of those rankings and judge your score. And so based on their rest of season, not a week 2 ranking, but a rest of season ranking, they have Joe at number 4. So Carlos is 5.
Okay, so you're right.
Okay, yeah.
And you were 7 in overall wins.
Okay.
And let me see. Yeah, points. Yeah, points is what hurt you the most, Carlos. That was 7. You're 7th in the league with points last week.
I got that
But just week
there.
1, you have a small sample size, so it starts to balance out. Like the sheet, if you look at it, it takes like your consistency rating as well. Like how often do you score well? Is it just a fluke, or are you like a boom or bust type of team? Like it takes that into account also.
Mm-hmm. I remember that, yeah. So how are you feeling about your roster, Mish?
I'm nervous because, like I said, I went wide receiver, tight end, and so my running backs are like the worst in the league pretty much. And so I'm just hoping that Lockett can produce like a wide receiver one, and that Kelsey will keep bringing the magic, and that'll kind of offset my shitty running backs. But so that has me a little uneasy, but after week 1, I was happy with the outcome because I finished 2nd in points. So
yeah, that bacon banner got a little close there for a minute, and freaking Dan just kind of ran away with it.
Yeah.
Charging up the rear.
All I needed was one more like big play from Lamar. If I had like just one more good pass from him, I think I would have had the banner. But
yeah. Oh well. How are you feeling about your team, Buffalo?
I mean, I feel good about my team. I'm nervous. I mean, I've after the first week, I'm definitely nervous with. I'm nervous with my wide receivers. I mean, that's I think my big weak spot. But I do feel like you can dig wide receivers out of the waiver wire. Like I've been pretty good at that in the past, and I don't feel too worried about it.
Yeah, they're the most replaceable as far as like skill position players go.
Yeah. I think I've got a couple. Jalen Waddle and Darnell Mooney are both rookies. That
I like Mooney. I like that Mooney pick a lot.
And Waddle had a pretty big role, even in like a pretty limited game for Miami last week. So I feel like he's somebody that at least has like a decent floor. And yeah, like Traquan Smith could come back and be like a dude. Like any of those Saints receivers with Jameis out there slinging. Like I think it's gonna be a really fun team to watch this year. Like it would be really. I mean, I'll go and say I'm a Jameis fan. Like I want to see. He's like had the loser brand for so fucking long. Like to see him like actually be the starting quarterback and like a fucking Super Bowl contending, franchise is like kind of
that just blew away the Packers.
Yeah, totally. Like Aaron Rodgers, like fucking, last run potentially, and just like totally dissed the fuck out of him. Even though that game obviously hurt me with Aaron Jones not getting jack shit.
Same with me and Adams. I had Devontae Adams. I think he only had like 8 points or something.
As much as I despise the Saints, like being the Panthers, arch nemesis, basically, like I fucking hate that team. I think Sean Payton should have been expelled from the league, the bounty gate, just never allowed to come back. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, I agree. Houston fans can relate to that for sure, because especially after Katrina, everyone just got so, heartbroken for New Orleans. Like we're all Saints fans. La-di-da, and a lot of transplants came in and just Saints fans all over the place.
Okay. Gotcha.
That seems like maybe more of a Houston fucking sentiment. I mean, I don't know too many Saints fans personally.
I know one.
I'm sure there's plenty of fucking.
Dan in our league is a Saints fan.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
No. It seems like that's been a little bit hidden. Is there?
I mean.
It's got a house.
I don't know how hardcore he is about it, but that's I think that's like his go-to team.
But seeing like Jameis is taking on this kind of like lovable loser like persona, it seems like the crab leg, eating W and shit. Like
and
it was pretty nice.
He has some rapey stuff going on in his past too.
He's not exactly a classy guy, but
He's still better than
Taysom.
Taysom. I'd much rather see him
Yes.
out there than Taysom
Yeah,
fucking
Fuck
Hill.
Taysom Hill.
Yeah, the way that
Yeah.
Sean Payton uses Taysom Hill is like
Yeah.
the biggest joke on the
Yeah.
planet. I can't believe, and the contract that he gave him too. I think
Oh, yeah.
Taysom is making like 30 million or something like that.
Oh,
At least 20 million. He's insanely overpaid
Yeah.
for
So
someone who can just
sidebar-
run the ball
sidebar-
4 times a game.
The sidebar and Taysom, it was nice seeing Jameis just dropping bombs on discount double douches team. You know? Like Aaron Rodgers is great. He's kind of an asshole and clearly just likes running his team through the mud every 3 seasons for some reason. Like, yeah, he's want to win, but like you've been close this many times. Like we'll get over the hump. And then the Taysom Hill thing, like that ridiculous contract he got. You know, this gimmick, like wildcat kind of player. I saw something that said his contract is like worth more than all of the WNBA contracts combined.
Well,
That's
that's probably not.
ridiculous,
I mean,
I don't know if that's true or not, but that's ridiculous. Like that freaking gimmick player is making more than like this entire league.
I
that's
doubt that, but
insane.
that's a funny tweet.
It's
Well,
yeah. Okay.
there's got to be, you know, they've got to have a player. They've got to have a white guy to sell jerseys on the Saints, right? Like,
I think ESPN was just, you know, pulling stats out of their hat like they always do to make headlines and shit. So maybe
But
that's what it was.
he's a really good athlete. Like that's all.
Oh,
I
he's
can say.
great.
He's such a good athlete.
You know who else
Yeah.
ESPN thinks is a really good athlete? Tebow.
Yeah.
they think he's an even better commentator, apparently.
Oh, he's the worst. Awful. Yeah. Yeah, fuck the Saints, right?
Yeah.
Calm down, Tom. Calm down. Let's see.
You guys have anything to add or any questions or any blurbs or any shit talking you want to bust out?
Yeah, I just want to say, first of all, Zach, I don't know if you can see this. Can you hear it?
Yeah. I'll screen
I
cap
gotta
it.
do it. Fucking.
Let's see. Blake, we had a really good matchup last week. Down to the fucking wire. I mean, I beat you by like the size of your cock, you know, like 0.04 or whatever it was. So like I know you can relate
You
to
haven't even
that.
seen his cock.
You've
you
never
don't
seen
know.
Blake's cock.
Someday.
That's
Yeah.
so rude.
Yes.
Good matchup, Blake. Hope to meet you someday. Yeah, beat your ass.
Yeah, you guys need to come down to Houston and go to the Ritz.
Oh yeah, let me
With us.
toot the horn real fast, because I feel like it. Hold on, find a Sue picture.
Okay.
Is
there a hot Ndamukong Suh talk?
Yeah, what year did we graduated in
They're 04. He was what, 2 years younger than us?
Yeah,
He went to Oregon or Oregon? Yeah, he went to Oregon, right?
He went to Nebraska.
He went to Nebraska, but he played
Yeah.
at Grant with us. So
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
One of the last beer bongs I've ever had in my life was like from him and some other football player at our buddy's house up in the Coon. Wild, dude.
he was an asshole. We'll go on record and say Ndamukong Suh was a fucking asshole in high school. He was not as much of a prima donna.
He had a nice Land Rover in high school and Range Rover.
Yeah. I think he was getting boosted.
Probably paid for by a scout at Nebraska.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was getting the booster money early.
Nike probably sunk their teeth into him or whatever the hell he's sponsored by.
Let's see if I can find I'm trying to find the football picture from high school.
I never senior year.
We don't have any NFL players in our little suburb of I call it a suburb. It's actually inside of Houston. We grew up in Bel Air, Texas, which is like its own city inside of Houston.
Bel Air, Texas.
Yeah, so like you pass the freeway and you're in Houston, like in any direction. But it was more of a baseball city for sure.
Oh yeah, this is not gonna.
The teeny little photo.
Why is it so small?
The biggest guy in the photo, but it's about 3 by 5. So it's about,
This is not even worth showing.
yeah.
Find it. I'll text it to the group chat or something.
Didn't
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, I'm curious about that.
Didn't you pancake him in practice or something?
Yeah, I didn't pancake him. I mean, so here's a little, Ndamukong Suh, like he was big in high school and like everybody expected big things from him. He was not, I think he really like learned to be the Ndamukong Suh that we know from Nebraska, not from Grant High School. But he did play defensive tackle. And I also played on the D line as like 160-pound
Jesus.
skeleton man.
They probably put you on the end though, right? As like a 2-point stance rusher, right? Or were you did you have your hand in the dirt? Did you have your hand in the dirt as a
I mean, I could do a 3-point, or I could do just like a standing up and just like an edge rusher, but like
a Dwight
I only
Freeney
played a
kind of
couple
guy?
varsity games, but I was more on the like the dummy like fucking
Sled
practice squad on both sides of the line. So it'd be like the dummy defensive end. And like I remember one time at practice, he played guard or tackle, and he pulled and he was supposed to like block down on me. And I like threw a pretty hard like fucking.
So he was playing
elbow,
offense?
like, stood him up. I was playing defense.
But if he was a pulling guard on offense and
yeah. I was playing defensive end, and he was supposed to like pull and block down on me to like make space in like the B gap or the C gap or whatever. And I pulled, and I got low and just came up hard with an elbow and just got him right in the chest plate. He was like, ugh. And we had this fat football coach who was awesome. His name was Coach Carrillo. He was like this big Mexican guy who would just like diss everybody. And he got in Sue's face and he's like, "You let Covarrubias fucking stand you up, you fucking pussy bitch. What are you doing on this team, blah, blah." And so then they ran the same play again, and he just fucking clobbered me. Like,
oh man,
probably like a mini concussion.
So he pancaked you.
Yeah, and then he pancaked.
Only linemen get the pancakes. Yeah.
I stood him up. I mean, he didn't knock me off the hole like he was supposed to.
Yeah.
I just came down.
So
and
he fucked up his assignment and then pancaked you immediately.
Yeah, and then pancaked me on the next play, and just like, and then from then on, like, just continued to like every practice, like every like opportunity, he just like always would just come for me super hard.
That's awesome. That is a cool story, man. I never knew that you got pancaked by Ndamukong Suh.
Yeah, like it fucking hurt. That is a big strong.
He is
man.
a big boy for sure. I bet he's eaten a lot of pancakes in his day.
Yeah,
I bet he has.
So Carlos was also I can't remember what year it was, but he was basically king of the late hit.
I mean, there's
a few games so Grant played a lot of their games at Portland State University, a big old turf field, and I'd go with friends and we're watching this team play.
Yeah, a couple of games. It wasn't. I mean,
sure.
A couple of games a year.
A couple games, and like I remember, like I don't know, 2 maybe 3 incidents. The opposing team's got the ball, quarterback, tucks it. It's like watching the pass go, then all of a sudden, just boom!
Oh,
Like 2, 3, not 4 seconds, but just
legs out by Carlos.
Him. It was
and they throw the flags, and then you like hear the stadium announcer be like, "Number 69, flag for unnecessary roughness." He's wearing 69. Like, oh shit.
And you're wearing were you wearing 69 when you got pancaked by
I mean, it was like, that's the thing too. Like in high school ball, like, first of all, if they fucking they get the pass off and they complete it,
that's a big feat right there.
Like you can then like, if you take the quarterback out, like what are they gonna take the penalty? Like it didn't matter.
If they complete the pass, they're not going to take the penalty. They're going to go down the field. Yeah.
And plus, like half the time, high school refs don't give a shit. They're not watching. They don't care. Like the quarterback will whine afterwards and just like, okay, like.
So after one of these late hits, we're all like laughing and cheering. We hear like some, Grant sports dad. He's like, "What fucking idiot was like coming in for a late hit?" I'm like, "Hey, my best friend you're talking about." Or something like that.
Have you ever been
Oh,
ejected,
yeah.
Carlos?
What's that?
Did you ever get ejected?
No, fuck no, they never cared that much.
It wasn't
They didn't-
dirty like Sue.
They didn't see it, yeah, like, they didn't, oh, yeah, they never saw it, like, they just hear about it afterwards from the quarterback. That was really, yeah. It was-
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
It's good times being a bystander, you know.
Yeah. I would have gotten my ass kicked if I ever played football. I was a scrawny
yeah.
ass motherfucker. I was
I would've
more of a
shit
baseball
all
guy
that,
for
dude.
sure.
Yeah. All 5'9", 1
Yeah.
or whatever it was back in high school or something. Like, nah, I played baseball. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good shit, man.
Well,
who are you playing this week?
I'm playing Joe. Me and Joe
Okay.
have a long rivalry in this league because we've been in the same division forever.
Okay.
And he's also an original member of the league. So let me pull that up.
Sweet.
So lifetime, I am 10-7 against Joe. I felt like I had much more of an upper hand on him, and he's kind of closed the gap over the last few years. He's also had more success in this league than I have. He has a championship and more playoff wins than I do, but I've always given him a hard time. So there was like a time I remember like making a video like of me sweeping my warehouse like after I swept him. Like I think there was like 2 or 3 years in a row where I swept him, going 2-0 in our division. So
Oh shit.
Hey,
I
Joe's
hope,
always
I hope
been
to
a-
bring that back. Yeah, Joe's always a strong contender. He's always in the playoffs.
Okay.
So I hate being in his division because he's always in it.
Was he at the draft?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was only there, he was there for one night.
He came with
flying?
Brian and Mike. Yeah, him and Brian
right.
slept on the couch. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Joe.
Thims, the Thimble
There you
Man.
go.
Thims. Oh yeah. Also, I just want to say that story of how he got that nickname Thims.
I heard something about a thimble.
Pretty.
Like
Team 4 gave him that nickname, and it just like stuck.
team 4. I learned about team 4 like what was it, last night. It's like
Team 4 is a better story than
Yeah, that's such a bad. It's
you're like playing Monopoly.
like, why would you
your
give someone a
friend-
nickname because of that?
He sounds like a proponent of the super soft birthday or something. You know? Oh yeah.
Yeah, Team 4 is very much like Washington football team status at this point.
Okay. Well, NFC least action going on.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Well, you guys have anything else to add before we wrap this up?
I don't know. If I have anything to say to my opponent.
Should we make it spicy?
Yeah, let's hear an on the air bet made.
Right, I'm waiting for it in the heat.
I don't know. I don't want to lose all my money, so I'll go. I'll go $25
Yeah.
on this one since I won 50 from Zach last week.
Yeah, I was about to say you're up now already with Zach.
Yeah.
25, just straight up, whoever wins.
Yeah, 25. All
Let's do it.
right.
All right.
Cool. Yeah.
Well, there you guys have it. Thanks for joining me on this pod. Thanks for putting it together. I know, like I told you, I was going to try to set something up, but I've been just stretched so thin, and you busted it out. So thank you for doing that. Anyone else who wants
Oh yeah.
to bullshit like this, hit me up.
Yeah, dude.
We'll do more video podcast or whatever the fuck you would call this medium. So friends for eternity. I'll check you guys later, man.
Keep making memories, you
Don't
know?
stop make memories forever with.
That's the best sign off, right? I never want to stop making memories with any
Remember,
of
what
you.
doesn't kill you makes you, what is it?
Stronger.
Except bears, right?
The bear, except bears.
Bears will fucking kill you.
Yeah.
Well,
And they
fuck
don't
those
want-
bears.
Yeah.
Yeah, bears.
All right, peace out. Turning off the
Bye.
recording now.